Christmas in the mid-century was so peculiar. Tonight, we'll discover how strange Christmas of yesteryear was. I'm Nick, and welcome to Practical Peculiarities. Lately, I've had a bit of an obsession with these vintage holiday magazine spreads from the 50s. They make me want to jump right into the photos. But some of them are a little questionable, like this shrimp tree. So to start, I take a styrofoam cone and line it with parchment paper. I trim the excess and fasten it with a toothpick. From there, I take some greens. I'm using mustard greens. Trim them to size and attach them with a toothpick. I continue to overlap them until they reach the top. I take some shrimp that have already been veined and cooked and impale them onto the cone. I realized at this point that they were too far apart and I needed to place them closer together to create this spiral garland effect. You definitely don't want to skimp on the shrimp. I'm adding a tacky bow on top in the spirit of the holiday. I add a side of cocktail sauce and lemon wedges. And bam! Perfect shrimp tree from 1950. Cute? Yes. Creepy? Absolutely. I mean, if I were a shrimp though, this is exactly how I'd want my carcass to be used. Another peculiar thing that they did in the mid-century was turn everything into a salad. And I'm not talking about regular old lettuce and ranch salad. I'm talking potato salad, Jello salad, fish salad, salmon salad in gelatin. For this next recipe, people usually love it or hate it. It's called Watergate salad, not to be mistaken with ambrosia salad, which is similar, minus the pudding.
This is not pudding.
I like to put a special themed twist on mine and call it WhoHash, which is perfect for this mid-century theme. So to start, dump fruit cocktail on mini marshmallows. They never put enough cherries in these cans, so I'm adding an extra jar. Dump in some unsweetened coconut and pistachio pudding mix. Fold it in until combined. Then add a tub of frozen whipped topping and fold it in. To make this WhoHash, take a large coffee can and add a label to it. This is available in the link below. Add the salad. Top it with coconut flakes. And finish with a cherry on top. And you have a perfect last can of WhoHash. Not all things that came out of the mid-century were stomach churning. One of my favorite kitchen tools that was highly used back in the day is this. This peculiar contraption is called a cookie press, and these things produce the perfect shaped cookies in no time. Now this one is great, but it's not as quick as the modern ones. I use these to make my favorite cherry Spritz cookies. They just scream 1950s Christmas, especially because of the maraschino cherry in the center. These are perfect for Santa. Speaking of Santa, I'd like to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Cafe Casino. If you want to jump into the fun and festive spirit yourself, you can check out their blog, where you'll find many fun recipes, including my recipe for cherry Spritz cookies, and more. The link is down below. Have you ever seen a Christmas tree made out of aluminum foil? Well, they were popular in the late 50s through the mid 60s. They were representative of the atomic space age, a time when America was obsessed with all things space, and I am fortunate to have one in perfect condition. It even has its original instructions, as well as a pamphlet that includes do's and don'ts of owning a tree like this. There are also cool ornament ideas inside. Each branch comes in a waxed brown paper sleeve. Per the instruction manual, it's only advised to hold these branches from the base and pull them down to remove the sleeve. One by one, they go into this metal pole, starting from the top to the bottom. Each branch is supposed to get an ornament. I'm using these old indent ornaments from the time period. They really don't make them like they used to. I like to hang them with long silver hooks so they look inconspicuous. For the star, I wrap plastic around the top branch. This helps it slide on better. To light these trees, they would use a contraption called a color wheel. Now I don't have a color wheel, so I'm using a color-changing floodlight instead. I am enamored by these beauties. They are another example of what good can come from pushing creative boundaries. I found these really cool magazines from the 1960s called The Great Big Christmas Book, and they're full of creative ideas, some festive and some quite peculiar, like this one. It's a nativity scene made out of bread buns. This one in particular caught my attention. It's a Santa pie. However, it's not an edible pie, it's a table centerpiece and game combined. The directions for this are kind of vague, so I'm going to be taking some creative liberties with this. So first, I take this jumbo hat box and cut the bottom off. This will act as my base. I cut the top of the lid off and keep the ring. Using this corrugated paper, I cut it into strips and glue it on to cover the base. I then paint it silver to imitate a pie plate. Next, I take the top ring and use it as a guide to make the top crust. In the book, it says to use brown crepe paper. However, this is the closest thing I could find. I lay them out and weave them, making sure to add little dots of glue to tack them down. Since the lattice alone would be too flimsy, I'm using some crepe paper to create a little cushion for the pie to look puffed up. Now I can add the lattice on top, and it'll look baked after I glue the edges down. Next, I'm adding this little wooden wheel in the center for later. From there, I place small gifts with a long ribbon attached to them and poke the ribbon through each side of the pie crust in all directions. I also poke a hole on top and add the Santa, which I made according to the magazine with a bit more flair. He's on a wooden dowel and sticks right into that wooden disc in the center that I added before. Lastly, I glue crepe paper around the seam and crimp it to look like crust. And there you have it, a nice Santa pie centerpiece, perfect for your next retro party. Before I bid you adieu, I wanted to share one more peculiarity with you. Did you know that they used to drink hot Dr. Pepper back in the 60s? They would deliberately heat it up, pour it in a cup, and garnish it with a lemon. And now for the moment of truth. So right away it smells super festive. It's good. It's like candy. Or it's kind of like a better version of a Dr. Pepper that's been left out in the car on a summer day. But I would say yes. Yes. I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. I'm curious to hear about your knowledge of peculiarities in the mid-century, so let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like button. Also, if you're looking for the perfect gift to give that person that has everything, consider my best-selling cookbook, Peculiar Baking. It has peculiar recipes for all year, even Christmas. So with that, I hope you have a peculiar holiday. Good night.